Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin McGuire and I am an English learner teacher at Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. Today we are going to be working on some phonemic awareness activities together. For these activities, you won't need any materials. All you'll need is your hands to do the motions with me, your ears, and your voice. All right, let's get started. Our first activity together is going to be adding phonemes or adding sounds to our words. I'll do the first one so you know what to do, and then you can try the rest with me, okay? So for example, if I said the word sock, and you would repeat sock, add t after s, and the word is stock, okay? Let's try some more. Sand, add t after s, and the word is stand, you got it. State, add after t, and the word is straight. Nice, that was a tricky one. Few, add after f, and the word is flew. You got it. Pay, add after p, and the word is pray. Very good. Soon, add p after s, and the word is spoon. Nice job. Pot, add after p, and the word is plot. Very good. Sell, add after s, and the word is smell. You got it. Nice work. Okay, our next activity, we are going to be deleting phonemes or taking sounds away from words. Again, I'll do the first one as an example, and then you can try the rest with me. All right, here we go. For example, if I said the word spoon, and you would repeat spoon, without the p, what's left is soon. Okay, let's try some more. Snoop, without the what's left is soup. You got it. Stock, without the t, what's left is sock. Nice. Bright, without the what's left is bite. You got it. Smash, without the what's left is sash. Excellent. Free, without the what's left is fee. Very good. Spy, without the p, what's left is sigh. Nice work. Breeze, without the what's left is bees. You got it. Place, without the what's left is pace. Very good. All right. For our last activity together, we are going to be substituting or changing parts of our words. Okay? So I'll do the first one, and then you can try the rest with me. For example, if my word is spill, and you would repeat spill, change the p to t. What's the word is still. All right? Nice work. Let's try some more. Snip, change the n to ul, and the word is slip. You got it. Clown, change the ul to and the word is crown. Nice job. Swine, good. Change the w to p, and the word is spine. Excellent. Grass, change the to ul, and the word is glass. Very good. Fly, change the ul to and the word is fry. You got it. Snore, change the n to k, and the word is score. Very good. Sling, change the ul to w, and the word is swing. Very good. Style, change the t to and the word is smile. Very good. Slip, change the ul to and the word is snip. You got it. Free, change the to and the word is flee. Very good. Excellent. All right, those are our phonemic awareness activities for today. Thank you so much for working with me. I hope to see you next time.
Hi readers, it's Megan and I am back to talk about phonics with you. Now I'm not going to do any sort of tricks today with phonics, more of a playing with words, jokes even. So today I wanted to teach you about homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same, but they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. This part, homo, means same, and this one, phones, has to do with how something sounds, okay? So words that sound the same, but are spelled differently, different meanings. Have you ever heard that joke, why was 9 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9? That's a homophone joke. All right, so 7, 8, 9, right? 8 is a number, E-I-G-H-T, but it is also something that people do, right? We eat, or we can say ate. That's the past tense, okay? Check those words out. They look totally different, but they sound the same, and they have different meanings. This part here makes the A sound, that long A. A. Isn't that crazy? E-I-G-H-A. Yeah, crazy. And this one here, this is a vowel consonant E. So this makes that A say the long A sound. 8. These are both the words 8. That's why it's a joke. Why was 9 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, I said the joke wrong. It's why was 8 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Well, you don't always get them right. All right. So let me tell you a few more homophone jokes. Hopefully I'll get these ones right. All right. What did Detective Corder say when she was close to solving the case? Give me a second to think. The answer is going to be a homophone. She said, I'm on the scent. Scent. S-C-E-N-T is like something you smell. The scent of the flowers. Or the scent of the case, right? If she's on the scent, that means she's close to solving it. But scent also can be like a penny. C-E-N-T. Ha! One time, S-C makes the S sound. S-C-E-N-T. This time, it's C-E. Scent. Little tip. Whenever C is followed by E, I, or Y, it makes the S sound. Okay. Next homophone joke. I can't promise they get better. Sorry. All right. Let's see. What did the group... Oh, sorry. Why? I need to practice my joke telling. Why did the group of elephants start dancing? Because they heard music. Herd is a group of animals, a herd of elephants. But herd is also something we've done. We heard a noise. We heard music. Look at how these are spelled. This is an R-controlled vowel. We didn't go over those, but you may have in school. And so is this. But they're spelled a little differently. Okay, next one. What did the visitor do when the homeowner asked her a fraction problem? What did the visitor do when the homeowner asked her a fraction problem? She guessed. Get it? Because the person who comes to visit is a guest. But if you guessed at a problem, you just tried to figure it out without thinking very hard. That's a guess. And check it out. Guessed. The kind of guest that comes to visit ends with a T. This kind, guest, ends with ed, but that makes the T sound in that word. Sometimes it does. Okay, last one, I promise. What do you call a piece of wood with nothing to do? A piece of wood with nothing to do. Did you get it? You call it bored. Yeah, you're bored if you have nothing to do, but a piece of wood is also called a board. This is another R-controlled vowel situation. O-R in board, and O-A-R in board as in a piece of wood. Readers, you can make your own corny jokes, all right? As you're reading, you can find some homophones, there, and there, see or see, groan and groan, like, oh my God, you've grown, and oh, I can't believe I have to do that kind of groan. So you can make your own homophone jokes. And you can even Google homophones to learn some more. All right, thanks, friends. Hey again. So, quick editing tip. I said the joke wrong. It's, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Doesn't that sound better? That sounds better. So, quick tip that has nothing to do with phonics. When you write your homophone jokes, practice them before you tell them. All right, bye.
Hello, friends, and welcome to At Home with APS Writing Workshop. I'm Sharon Stutzman, one of the reading specialists at the Montessori Public School of Arlington. I'm joined today with Jen Saravello. Jen has created a great method for students to use in order to plan and get their writing published. So let's see how that works. We want to start with a plan in mind. Different forms of writing have different patterns of organization. Before beginning your draft, think about the shape you want to make. Create a quick visual in pictures or in words to show the big structure. As you write, check back to see where you are in your plan. In Lego building, if the foundation isn't strong, the building will fall over. The same is true in writing. Our text needs to be structurally sound or it won't make sense. So how do you avoid a collapse? Well, you plan well from the beginning. There are several ways to organize writing. Not every pattern will work for every writer or piece of writing. It's important to organize the writing in an interesting way so that it makes sense to the reader and understanding doesn't fall apart. Prompts like this will help. What genre are you writing in? What do you know about how the genre is organized? One way that helps is to look at text structures. You can use organizers for like boxes and bullets, or compare and contrast, problem solution, and pros and cons. Text structures are a form of planning or organizing. Boxes and bullets, for example. You have a thesis. You're making your claim with reasons to support and more reasons and yet more. Boxes and bullets is great to use in personal or persuasive essays, even organizing paragraphs. Notice that they have a place for a main idea and a few supporting details. Often, we use transition words like because and why. I'm going to show you an example of girls and Legos. In organizing my thinking about the company of Lego and the opportunities for play that it offered boys and girls, I used this boxes and bullets graphic organizer. As the main idea, I wrote, Lego is a company that offers creative play opportunities for boys and girls. The supporting details, or the bullets, are in 1974, they wrote a statement to parents in the packaging stating Lego was a creative toy for girls and boys. Another bullet or detail is that a girl named Charlotte wrote to Lego and told them it wasn't fair that there were more girl figures than girls, so Lego made more girl figures as a response. A third detail or bullet was in 2014. Lego introduced 3 female characters, a paleontologist, an astronomer, and a chemist. So how do you put that together into a piece of writing? Well, notice in the yellow highlighted area at the beginning, that's my thesis sentence. Lego is a company that offers creative play opportunities for boys and girls. Then I followed up with my 3 detailed points, just as we read before. I concluded with using a transition word, therefore, and writing Lego has shown support for girls and boys since the beginning of the company. It kind of proves the point. So I start with making my thesis and I end by scooping it up. Let's talk about another thing that we can use. Compare and contrast. We can take 2 related subjects, use a Venn diagram and a topic sentence, show how those details are grouped together using some clue words like on one hand or on the other hand, and always ending with the word both. There are many ways to compare and contrast the features of items, people, and events. Many types of graphic organizers make it easier to examine these similarities and differences, including Venn diagrams and charts and others. You can compare and contrast fiction and nonfiction. You could compare 2 versions of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, or you could compare the characters in a Harry Potter series, or 2 types of insects, such as wasps and bees. Bees have barbed stingers, and they sting to defend. Wasps, they have smooth stingers, and they sting to kill their prey. Both of them, though, sting. If you were going to write about this, you would start with an in general statement, such as, in general, if you've been stung out of the blue, it's probably a wasp. Bees and wasps sting for different reasons. So you've sort of set it up. Then you talk about each side. Compared to wasps, however, bees are less aggressive. The bee's stinger is used strictly for defense, and most bees will die after stinging the predator. That is because bee stingers are barbed. On the other hand, a wasp is easily provoked and is more aggressive by nature. A wasp stings to capture and kill prey. Wasps can sting a target multiple times since its stinger is smooth and slips out of its target, but both have stingers. So we use the word both on one hand and on the other hand, and we compared them to each other. So the language is inside this part of our writing. We can also use cause and effect. Some of those transition words are consequently, therefore, as a reason, because, and for this reason. Look at this graphic organizer. It basically is just showing you one thing leads to the other, and there's an arrow in the middle. So how does this work? If you're reading an article and your teacher asked you to write what the cause and effect was, you can keep that organizer in mind because it's just one thing that leads to another. So in this article by Tween Tribune from the Smithsonian, it's called "Some Flowers Create Blue Halo to Attract Bees." And it starts with flowers have a nifty way to get the blues. They create a blue halo to attract bees. Let's see why. Bees are drawn to sunflowers because of their blue halos. The blue halos occur because of the way the sunlight hits the plant edges at certain times of the day. Bees need nectar and flowers need pollination. They help each other. So in this case, it's a cause and effect, and it works both ways because the flower helps the bee and the bee helps the flower. So you could see the arrow going in both directions. Another way we can look at things is through pros and cons. We talked about this in a prior writing workshop on AETV. This particular one is about Legos. Here we have a messy pile, and here we have one that's organized. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons. You may remember that we use the positives and the negatives. Write down your reasonings of why each idea is positive or negative. You can do that by writing a list. The positives are, it's easier to see individual pieces. Color coding adds speed in finding bricks. The negatives are, you can't find bricks as easily and it's harder to see individual pieces. So there are pros and cons to organizing Lego bricks before a project. The pros of organizing Lego bricks are they're easier to find, which makes it faster to finish the project. The cons of not organizing Lego bricks are it's simpler to leave everything in one pile. This takes more time and the project takes longer to finish. It's going to be a hard decision. So you see, we talked about the pluses, the minuses, and then we swoop it up at the end. We always reread. Don't let your work collapse. Now let's review. Boxes and bullets. You can use this for personal and persuasive essays, even organizing paragraphs. Compare and contrast. Remember, you can use this for fiction and nonfiction. You can compare books like mystery stories. You can compare insects and science for nonfiction. So it can be used for many things. You can even have 3 circles and compare 3 or more things. Cause and effect. And this is sort of like when we're thinking about the sunflower that glowed blue light and the blues pollinated the flower, or maybe Goldilocks ran away because the bears came home. So it's always a cause and effect. Remember the arrow, and that will help you in your reading. Pros and cons. Listing the positives and the negatives. We've talked about that a lot in Writing Workshop. The pros and cons of organizing Legos, for example, or maybe the pros and cons of inviting the bears to dinner or not. Well, that's it for today. We have really gone through ways to plan our writing. Thanks to Jen Saravello, we've learned a lot about this. So don't let go of today's strategies. Remember, create a quick visual in pictures, Legos, or words of the big project. What kind of text structure or organizer do you need? Write your draft and check those transition words, and always reread. Remember, planning leads to publishing. Now it's your turn to build. What's the genre? Use the text structure For that type of writing, write your draft using transition words and reread. Visualize, plan, and write. If you write about Legos, send the graphic organizer draft and final to sharon.stutzman@apsva.us. You'll get an email with a certificate for participating. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Sharon Stutzman, the reading specialist, one of the reading specialists at the Montessori Public School of Arlington. Thank you and have a great day.
Mathematicians. I'm Miss Pierce and I teach 5th grade at Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary. Today we're going to work on a number sense routine called Same But Different, and then we're going to do an activity where we classify triangles by their sides and their angles. Lastly, you'll have a reflection piece and then family tip. Let's get started.
Number sense routine focuses on identifying characteristics of these two shapes that are similar and that are different. So the first thing that I'm noticing that's the same about these two shapes is that they're obviously both triangles. They both have 3 sides and 3 angles. I'm also noticing that all of the angles on both triangles are acute, meaning that they're all less than 90 degrees. So they also have that in common, that they are both acute triangles. What I'm noticing that is different about both of these triangles is that triangle 1, or the triangle that has all green sides, all of the sides are the same length. So this would be considered an equilateral triangle because all sides are equal. This triangle can also be considered isosceles because in order to be an isosceles triangle, you have to have at least 2 congruent sides. And this equilateral triangle has 3, which is at least 2. So although it is primarily equilateral, it is also an isosceles triangle. Triangle 2, or the triangle on the right, we can see has at least 2 sides that are congruent. Both of these red pieces are the same length, and the yellow piece is shorter. So because it has at least 2 sides that are congruent, this is an isosceles triangle. So that leaves us with something else that is similar between the two triangles. They are both isosceles, although triangle 1 is also equilateral because all 3 of the sides are congruent, and triangle 2 is not equilateral because only 2 of the sides are congruent. When we classify triangles by angles, we are taking a look at the largest angle in the triangle. So out of the 3, what is the biggest? That is how a triangle gets its name. A triangle whose largest angle is above 90 degrees would be considered an obtuse triangle. A triangle that has its largest angle is less than 90 degrees would be considered acute. And a triangle whose largest angle is exactly 90 degrees is a right triangle. So we're going to use these 3 vocabulary words at the bottom of the page to describe or classify each of these triangles by its angles. So looking at triangle 1, we can see that there are 3 angles that are all the same. They're all acute angles or less than 90 degrees. So this would be an acute triangle. The other angles in an acute triangle are also acute. So all 3 of them are going to be less than 90. Taking a look at our next triangle here in the middle, I can see that the largest angle is a right angle. So that's how I'm going to name that triangle. I'm also noticing that because this is a right angle right here, these other 2 angles have to be less than 90. Number 1, because we named our triangle after it, so we know the largest is a right angle at 90 degrees. But also, in order to have a total of 180 degrees, which all triangles have, these 2 triangles would have to be 90 degrees combined. So they must each be less than 90. Looking at our last triangle, we can see that its largest angle is obtuse, and that angle is right here, meaning that it's larger than 90 degrees. A way that you can use to help you determine this is to just draw a straight line up from this bottom ray, and you know that that would be 90 degrees. And then this yellow ray, or this yellow line, goes outside of that 90-degree mark, so you know that it's larger. So our obtuse angle is here, and that's what we're going to name our triangle after. And the other two angles in an obtuse triangle are also acute. They have to be less than our obtuse angle because that's what we named our triangle after, and they are both less than 90 degrees. Instead of classifying triangles by their angles, this time we're going to classify triangles by their sides. A triangle that has three congruent sides, or three sides that are the same length, is an equilateral triangle. An easy way to remember this is that all sides are equal, and that's literally in the name. The next type of triangle that has no congruent sides is a scalene triangle. As you can see in this picture, all of the side lengths are different, and they're represented by a different color. And the last way we can classify triangles by their sides is an isosceles triangle. And that's a triangle that has at least two congruent sides. So as you can see in the photo, there's two congruent side lengths that are green and one yellow that demonstrates the third length. To be isosceles, you need to have at least two congruent sides. Now, another one of these triangles has at least two congruent sides, and that is an equilateral triangle. It has three congruent sides, but that is at least two, so it also can be classified as an isosceles triangle. Now that we've classified triangles by both its angles and its sides, we're going to do the same for these three triangles and give each triangle two names. Looking at triangle 1, I can immediately tell that there is a right angle. So when we're classifying it by its angles, the largest angle is right. I also notice that two of the sides are the same color, which signifies that it's the same side length. And when a triangle has two sides of the same length or congruency, it is isosceles. So this triangle is a right isosceles triangle. Now looking at triangle 2, our triangle in the center, I notice that it has three equal sides or congruent sides. So it is an equilateral triangle. All of the angles in this triangle are acute as well. They're all less than 90 degrees. Because this triangle is equilateral, it is also isosceles because it has at least two congruent sides. It actually has three congruent sides. And lastly, triangle 3, I'm taking a look at it closer and I notice that it has an obtuse angle, an angle that is larger than 90 degrees, and that angle is right here. Now, looking at the side lengths of this last triangle, I see that it's three different colors, which tells us that it's three different side lengths, which means that none of them are congruent, and that makes it a scalene triangle.
The last part of this video is a challenge. You're going to classify each triangle by sides and angles. Take a close look at each triangle. Remember, you are going to give each two names. The first triangle has three different side lengths. Another way we can say this is that none of the sides are congruent. This triangle is scalene. We can also see that its largest angle is 90 degrees, making it a right triangle. The other two angles are acute. Let's take a look at the second triangle. What do you notice? I noticed that two of the sides, the red ones specifically, are congruent. They're the same length. This makes it an isosceles triangle when classifying it by sides. I also see that the angle where the two red sides meet is larger than 90, and an angle that's larger than 90 degrees is called obtuse. This makes the triangle obtuse because that's what we name a triangle after. The other two angles are acute. They're both less than 90 degrees, and the total of the triangle will equal 180.
We're going to move isosceles over here because 2 of the side lengths are congruent. Lastly, let's shift over to focus on the last triangle. What do you notice about it? I see that again, 2 of the sides are congruent, which makes it isosceles. And I also notice the angles. They're all less than 90 degrees, which means the entire triangle is acute. Hopefully you were able to identify these characteristics as well, and I hope that you had fun classifying triangles. For your reflection today, I want you to think about one thing you learned or one thing that was maybe clarified for you today. You can write it down or share with a friend or family member. This week's family tip is to encourage your child to find different types of angles and triangles around the house or in your neighborhood. There are plenty just around in plain sight that you can look at, take a photo, and then classify them according to both sides and angles.
Hi, I'm Erin San. I'm a teacher and a mindfulness coach. What that means is I help people just like you use their senses to notice what's happening in their lives from moment to moment so they can worry a lot less and smile a whole lot more. Today I want to share with you the idea of having a beginner's mind. A beginner's mind is a mind that is filled with curiosity, potential, and possibility. The opposite of a beginner's mind is someone who thinks they're an expert. And when you think you're an expert on something, it closes your mind off to the opportunity to learn anything new. When we approach subjects or experiences with a beginner's mind, even if it's a subject we know a lot about or an experience we've had before, this beginner's mind allows us to be incredibly curious, to look around, to take in the scenery as if it's the first time we're seeing it. It allows us to ask questions and to willingly accept whatever answers are offered. It also allows us the opportunity to seek help when we need it. Sometimes we have things all figured out, but other times we face challenges. And it's important that you feel comfortable to ask questions and to get help from your friends or your family or your teacher or anyone else whom you trust. Having a beginner's mind is a beautiful way for you to arrive each day fresh and new, so that you're not carrying with you any expectations, any judgments, any biases or prejudices. It gives you a chance to open your eyes and see things really clearly that day. It's a good way to have some fun in your life as well. So give it a try. Next time you do something, open up your mind. See if you can get curious about it in a way that you've never been curious before. Maybe you'll notice something that you've never noticed before. And maybe it will invite a sense of joy that you've not yet felt. Thank you so much for practicing mindfulness with us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Second Step lessons are created by Committee for Children, who owns and controls all rights therein. Permission was granted to district to make and broadcast this video for educational use only by district parents, families, teachers, and counselors with students currently learning via television broadcast due to the impact of COVID-19. No other use of this video or Second Step lessons is permitted. Committee for Children, 2020.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is our last lesson together, and we're going to be talking about something really important, seeking help. Take a look at this picture. What kind of feelings do you think this boy is having? Frustrated, overwhelmed, tired, probably worried. He has a lot going on in his life. Look at all of the different things that he has to juggle. Sometimes you can feel so overwhelmed that the best thing to do is to ask a teacher or a trusted adult for help. But why is it hard sometimes to ask for help? You might feel embarrassed. You might feel shy. You might not want to admit that you do need help. And you might not know who to ask. You might remember that we've talked about assertive communication being the best way to get what you need or want. Remember that when we are assertive, we're respectful, confident, we look the other person in the eye, standing up straight, and we say what we need or want. When we need help, it's really important that we ask someone and use an assertive voice so that they can help. Today we're going to explore problems that are best solved by getting help from a trusted adult. We're going to use the problem-solving steps, and we'll be looking for the best solution. Remember, the S stands for say the problem, T is think of solutions, E is explore the consequences of all of the different solutions, and P is pick the best one. Then we're going to practice being assertive when asking an adult for help. As you watch this next video, think about what Caden needs to do to get his project done.
About 2 weeks ago, a teacher sent a big project. If I had started working on it right away, everything would be okay. But now everything's not okay. The project is due on Monday and I still haven't started. I'm so far behind that I don't even know where to begin. Plus, I have to practice every day after school. And this weekend, I have to help babysit my little brother while my mom's at work. Okay. I know I have to calm down. I'll just say what the problem is. I have a project due next week and I haven't started yet. Now, if I could just think of a solution. Maybe I could pretend to be sick on Monday. I know. I could ask him if I could copy his paper and turn it in. I could just do it really fast and hope it looks okay. When I thought about the consequences, I realized none of the ideas I first came up with were going to be very good. So I still had a really big problem and I didn't know what to do about it. Finally, I decided to ask an adult for help. I decided to ask my teacher what I could do.
So what did Caden do to calm down? He used his own stop signal. He said, okay, I have to calm down. And then he took some deep breaths. So calming down helped him then actually state the problem. At the end, he was finally able to say, I have a project due next week and I haven't started. Then Caden did T, think of solutions. What solutions did he think of? He thought of a lot. Some were good and some were not so good. Yeah, he thought pretend to be sick on the day the project is due, copy the project from his friend Miguel, do it really fast and hope it looks okay. And then he thought of ask the teacher for help. The next step is E, explore consequences. Think about what the consequences of those different solutions are. Some of them won't really help him. They might even get him in trouble. The consequences might be bad for him if he turns in something he's not proud of. The only good solution that Caden thought of was to ask his teacher for help. So let's see what Caden does next.
When I thought about the consequences, I realized none of the ideas I first came up with were going to be very good. So I still had a really big problem and I didn't know what to do about it. Finally, I decided to ask an adult for help. I decided to ask my teacher what I could do. I practiced how I'd ask because I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I was afraid she'd be mad at me. I knew I'd be a little embarrassed too. I planned to go early to school because I knew my teacher would be there and it would be quiet in the room. Miss Rosen, I need to talk to you about our project. I haven't started to work on it yet and I really need some help. Would you help me?
Okay, Caden. I appreciate your taking responsibility and asking for help. Let's see what we can do.
Once Caden decided that the best solution was to ask for help, what did he do next? He made a plan. He practiced assertiveness skills to help himself ask because he was nervous about it. And he knows that practicing helps train our brains and prepare us. How did being assertive help Caden? He knew he was able to get his teacher's attention, and he knew his teacher would take him seriously. He even thought of the best time to ask her when she wouldn't be distracted or have other students around. In this story, Caden needed to get help with some schoolwork. What are some other situations in which asking an adult for help is the best solution? If someone is getting bullied, or if someone is hurt or being unsafe, it's always best to ask a teacher for help. And also, if you've tried to solve a problem yourself and you're unable to, that's a good time to ask a teacher for help too. Besides your teacher, can you think of any other trusted adult who you could ask for help? Can you think of 5 other trusted adults? Maybe the art teacher, my school counselor, my mom, my dad, and the principal. It's a good idea to have more than one adult that you feel comfortable asking for help, just in case that person is not available when you need them. As we finish up summer school, I hope that you've learned a lot over the last 4 weeks. And I hope that as we start the school year, again this fall, that you'll ask for help when you need it. We don't know what it will look like yet, but I'm sure there will be challenges and times where you don't know what to do. Be assertive and ask an adult for help so that you can be the most successful learner you can be. Take care.
Hola queridos matemáticos, ¿qué creen? Hemos llegado al último video. El último video, ¿lo pueden creer? ¿Tan rápido? No puede ser. Pues sí, es así. Hemos aprendido muchísimo hasta el día de hoy. Así que hoy, pon atención, porque es nuestro adiós, es nuestro último video. Seguro aprenderás mucho, pero recuerda, pon atención, abre tu mente y prepara tus materiales para aprender. ¡Hasta luego! Antes de empezar, necesitarás un papel y un lápiz, o una pizarra y un rotulador. Comenzaremos con una rutina numérica, que nos ayudará a pensar sobre los números de manera diferente. Nos ayudará a hacer conexiones entre los números. ¿Están listos? ¡Oh, eso parece! Pues a comenzar.
Lo primero que podemos observar es que tenemos 4 figuras, pero tenemos un signo de interrogación, así que sabemos que nos falta una figura en el centro. Vamos a ver cuál es la pregunta para adivinar la figura. ¿Qué figura falta si las 5 figuras suman 17 lados? Piensa un poco en la pregunta. ¿Qué figura hace falta si la suma de todos los lados es 17? Bueno, te doy una pista. Piensa, ¿cuántos lados tenemos hasta ahora? ¿Y cuántos lados faltan? Te voy a dar un segundo para pensar en algunas opciones. Y cuando las tengas, quiero que pienses en una ecuación que puedas escribir que contenga esos números. Por ejemplo, piensa, número más número de lados más número de lados es 17. O también puedes usar las paréntesis para decir esta cantidad de figuras por la cantidad de lados más este lado más otro lado. Bueno, forma tu ecuación. Vamos, tú puedes. Ahora mira, esta es la figura que falta. ¿La tienes? Sí, es el cuadrado. El cuadrado es la figura que hacía falta. Mira la ecuación. 4 lados del cuadrado más 3 más 3 más 3 más 4 es igual a 17. ¿De qué otra manera podemos escribir esta ecuación? Pues podemos usar paréntesis. Por ejemplo, 3 triángulos de 3 lados, así que 3 por 3 me va a dar 9, más 2 cuadrados que cada uno tiene 4 lados. 2 por 4, 8. Así que 9 más 8 me va a dar 17. Así es, y terminamos este calentamiento matemático. Ahora, con lo que sigue. La lección. El día de hoy vamos a estudiar sobre los polígonos. Y nuestro objetivo es que podrás describir lo que es un polígono. Y también identificar los diferentes polígonos por nombre. ¿Listos? ¡Ja, ya! ¡Vamos! Vamos a identificar 3 partes de un polígono. Primero, tenemos los lados. Los lados son estas líneas que forman la figura. En este caso, tenemos estos lados que se llaman segmentos rectos que componen un polígono. Después tenemos lo que se llaman vértice. La vértice son los puntos exactos en los que intersectan las líneas. Por ejemplo, cuando esta línea conecta con la otra, la vértice es este puntito de encuentro. Y finalmente tenemos los ángulos. Los ángulos se forman por las líneas que intersectan. Recuerda que una línea intersecta cuando cruza con otra línea. Así que aquí intersecta esta línea con esta y forman este ángulo de aquí adentro. Vamos a ver cuántos lados, vértices y ángulos tiene esta figura. ¿Lo sabes? Sí. 5 lados, 5 vértices y 5 ángulos. Qué fácil, ¿no? Muy bien. Ahora vamos a continuar con otra característica que diferencia un polígono. Comencemos. Un polígono es una figura bidimensional, es decir, 2 dimensiones. Puedes usar estas figuras, estos polígonos, para crear una figura de 3 dimensiones, como el ejemplo de aquí. Aquí tenemos este cuadrado, este cuadrado, este cuadrado, este y este, que cuando los unes forman un cubo. Entonces, 6 cuadrados planos, o sea, 6 polígonos planos, formaron este cubo. Vamos a repasar lo que significa ser polígono. Pues los polígonos tienen que ser figuras geométricas planas, o sea, de 2 dimensiones o bidimensional. Tienen que ser figuras cerradas, no pueden tener ninguna apertura. y tiene que tener 3 o más lados, ángulos y vértices. Muy importante. Vamos ahora a decidir cuál de estas figuras son polígonos y cuáles no son polígonos. Toma en cuenta que tenemos que pensar si son figuras cerradas, si tienen 3 o más lados, vértices o ángulos, y si son figuras planas. Comencemos con el primero. Aquí tenemos esta figura que tiene lados rectos, sí, pero veo que aquí tiene un lado que no es una línea, ¿no? Vale, entonces esta figura yo la clasificaría como no polígono. Vamos a continuar con la siguiente. Aquí tenemos una figura de 4 lados, un cuadrilátero. Tiene todas las partes cerradas, perfecto. Yo lo clasificaría como un, ¿qué? Polígono. Muy bien. Continuamos con la siguiente figura que parece la parte de arriba de una flecha. Así que tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4 lados. ¿Sí? Tenemos 4 lados, todos están cerrados, no hay ningún hueco. Tiene vértices, sí. Tiene ángulos, también está cerrada y es plana, sí. Así que es un polígono. Mira esta, es un poco extraña y muy divertida. Es una línea giratoria, pero tenemos un problema. No está cerrada. Automáticamente es un no polígono. Vamos a ver la siguiente. Tenemos esta figura con 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lados. ¿Son rectos? Sí. ¿Tiene vértices y ángulos? También. ¿No tiene curvas? No. ¿Y es figura plana? Perfecto. ¿Está cerrado? Sí. Polígono. Muy fácil. Vamos a ver ahora este de aquí, el círculo. Bueno, mucha gente se puede confundir porque el círculo es una figura plana, pero tenemos un problema, que no tiene lados ni no tiene vértices, pero sí está cerrada. Así que ¿ustedes qué opinan? Sí, yo creo que sí, es un no polígono. Ahora tenemos la figura de 3 lados, está cerrada, tenemos ángulos, vértices y es plana, así que esta es muy fácil, polígono. Y ahora tenemos uno que parece un triángulo, pero tenemos un gran problema, está abierta. Si yo pongo aquí una hormiguita, pues podrá salir a escaparse. Así que no, este no cuenta, no polígono. Y finalmente tenemos un cubo. Este lo vimos en el ejemplo anterior. ¿Es una figura cerrada? Sí. 3 o más lados con vértices también. Pero no es una figura plana. Es una figura de 3 dimensiones. Así que es un no polígono. Muy bien. Muy buena la práctica, ¿no? ¿Te gustó? Continuemos. Ahora vamos a estudiar sobre algunos polígonos. Recuerda que el polígono más pequeño es el triángulo, porque tiene 3 lados. El triángulo es tan importante que lo estudiarás en su propia unidad. Siguiente, continuamos con el cuadrilátero. El cuadrilátero tiene 4 lados. También es tan importante que estudiarás muchísimo sobre los cuadriláteros. Después tenemos el pentágono, el hexágono, el heptágono, que tiene 7 lados, el octágono, como el que vemos aquí, el eneágono y el decágono. Tenemos el hexágono, el heptágono, tenemos el hexágono, el heptágono, el octágono, el eneágono y el decágono. ¿Puedes recordar los nombres de todas estas figuras? Vamos a intentarlo. Bueno, reflexiona. Es tu turno. Estoy pensando en una figura. Adivina cuál es. Es una figura cerrada con 6 lados congruentes. Congruente significa que los lados son del mismo tamaño. ¿Qué figura es? Dibújala. La respuesta, ¿estás preparado? El hexágono, perfecto. El hexágono. ¿Se parece tu dibujo al mío? ¿Qué observas? ¿Qué estrategias usarías para recordar los nombres de los diferentes polígonos? ¿Los escribirías en una libreta? ¿Los dibujarías? ¿Qué harías? Y bueno, llegamos al fin. Familias, gracias por apoyar el aprendizaje de matemáticas. A continuación, verán una actividad que pueden hacer en casa para seguir practicando. Puedes salir en búsqueda de polígonos por tu vecindad. Como puedes ver aquí, hay muchos ejemplos de diferentes polígonos por donde quiera que mires, no solo en la señalización de las calles, sino que en la naturaleza o en edificios o en cosas que ves todos los días alrededor de tu casa. Otra actividad muy divertida que pueden comenzar a practicar en casa son los tangramas, o en inglés tangrams. Los tangramas es un rectángulo que de la forma en que lo divides salen 7 figuritas. Tienen que salir estas 7 figuras exactas. Y con estas 7 figuras exactas se pueden crear una multitud de imágenes y figuras. Esta actividad es extremadamente divertida y creativa para los niños y también les ayuda a formar más polígonos y más figuras, siguiendo con la práctica. Espero que hayan disfrutado de este video. Muchas gracias.